Hey y'all. Uh, well, so far with my experience lately with filming has been I've been running into some technical issues that I'm learning. Um, so yesterday morning I was having technical, and this morning, so like I really rather post in the morning, but here lately it's been against me. So, but I just want to go ahead and just talk a little bit about autonomy. So, autonomy is a word that I didn't learn till I went through health coaching. And specifically, I went through the NBHWC program and I took the test but didn't pass. And that's okay. I'm going to talk more about that later. But for right now, it's just really about the process of coaching. It's really a beautiful thing because it's really, it's very empowering to allow people to go within and make their choices based off of what they want. Not that what you want for them or what you think is best for them. Um, I look at it as something that, as we are children, we are shaped into who the world maybe wants us to be, or because somebody experienced something, they don't want you to experience it the way they experience it, or just whatever it is. So, for example, let me give you an example. Let's say a man wants his son, a dad wants his son to be a farmer just like him. But the boy wants to be a writer. And so he decides that, dad keeps on telling him, discourages him basically from being a writer because his dad wants him to take over the farm, the farming business and the farm. So, the dad's like, oh, there's no money to be made in that, and kind of discourages him. So the boy believes his dad and says, yeah, that's right, So becomes a farmer. But there's still this passion inside of him that, he's not enjoying being a farmer. There's still this passion inside of him that's burning, but he's showing up for work. But there's still like this part that he's like, yeah. And so he starts writing every day, and then he's, on his spare time when he gets home or done with all the farm work, he starts writing and does this and journals. And I'm sure he was writing before, but and then one day he decides to do something with it. But it's also just their encouragement. Maybe somebody came along and encouraged him. Maybe he started to believe in himself. That's self-efficacy. I always have trouble with saying that word. But it's just being able to help people. So had the dad been more like, more empowering and just been like, son, I think that's great. If that's what you want to do, then I'm going to support you, and let go of his idea, like the dad's dream is to hand it down maybe to generation, but if that is not his son's dream, his passion, you can't force it on him. But I think that just being able to, I don't know, like it's helped me with all of my relationships in life, just helping people with their why. What is behind what you're wanting to do, because whatever you're wanting to do, everything else will follow. You follow your passion, then, there's this old, what's that old saying, like, what is it, like, if you do what you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. I don't know, I might have that all wrong, but it was something like that. But and there's also this other quote that I really don't know who wrote it, because I found different people that have there's a different name to it. There's two different quote, or it's the same quote but two different names that I've seen it. But it goes something about, like, making your work your play, and other people can decide what you're doing. Something, I don't know. I'll have to get it for y'all sometime. But anyways, so I think that just being able to help people, allow people to make the mistakes, because that's where they're going to learn. Like, as parents, it's so hard for us to allow our children to make mistakes sometimes, because we don't want to see them get hurt. When things don't go, like, I think that sometimes if a child wants to become, an artist or actress or something, and some parents are like, oh, are you sure you don't want to do that? And maybe I might be guilty of it too. So I don't claim that because I feel like I did what I was taught, and my mom and my parents, sibling, whoever, they did what they were taught, and it goes up. So we don't know what we don't know, and we do the best that we can. But I think that learning how to help people, because people have all the answers that they need within. Their answers, they know what they need to do, but there's something holding them back. Or maybe they don't know what to do, and they just need some guidance. Have you ever, like, called somebody, or somebody call you, and they're like, hey, I was just needing some advice, and I just need to know what you think about this, da 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 da, and then they just talk about the situation or whatever, and before you know it, they're like, oh, you know what, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And you haven't said anything, or they haven't said anything, and you've already figured it out. Sometimes it's just having somebody that will listen and hear you, and ask you maybe some powerful questions that you wouldn't ask yourself, or maybe if you did ask yourself, you didn't answer yourself. So it's just really being able to have those tough questions sometimes, without any judgment, any criticism, just that kind of stuff. So that's basically what coaching is. There's no judgment. It's meeting you where you are, and going on an adventure with you, like brainstorming some ideas and just thinking wild. Like, let's think wild. And when you look at your best life now, what would that look like? Just throw it all out there, whatever, even if it sounds crazy. If you just want a big old pond in your front yard, like, that's okay. Let's talk about it, like, whatever it is. So that's basically, that is, I think autonomy is the heart of coaching. It's really being able to help people just, well, I guess there's self-efficacy too, believe. So that's all I want to say today. One of these days I'm going to try to make it short. But yeah, that was just what was in my heart. So thank you all for listening. Bye.